I kid you not, we get to the door of the apartment and it looks like dried vomit on the front of the door. So now we are going back and forth about what this dried crap on the front door is. So he opens the door, we go inside, dead cockroach. It's a no for me. Like, it's a definite no now, but I'm not going to be rude. If it's your first time seeing my face, my name is Shannon and this is Testimony Loading. It has been a minute, but I am back, and I am back with a testimony. If you've been following my journey, I believe my last on-screen video, well, I don't know. It's been so long, but I've been in an extended stay, and I've been at this extended stay since August of last year, so August of 2025. And my time here is coming to an end, and that's what this video is about. This video is for anybody who is feeling forgotten, anybody who has been almost in the sidelines of other people receiving the very thing that they've been standing and waiting for. This video is to reassure you and to encourage you, and just to show you that, y'all, miracles really do happen. So before I get into the testimony, I just want to let you know this is not going to be a microwave message. So if you don't like long videos, this definitely isn't the content for you. But this probably will be two parts because I don't want to leave any details out. Now that the disclaimer is out of the way, let me get into the testimony. And like I said, I will try to make sure that I am as concise as possible, but I want to be sure to include details because the details are important here. So back in November of 2025, I had been here, let's see, September, October, November. So I'd been here 3 months. I went to go and look for an apartment. I felt like I had been here long enough. I kind of had my footing. Income was coming in, and I felt like, hey, I'm ready to move. So I found this place online. I went to go and tour it. As soon as I arrived, like, I fell in love with the place. It was beautiful. It had all the amenities that I could want. A playground for my girls because I homeschooled them, so they would have a place to go and break their day up. Y'all, the apartment community was on a golf course. The apartment community was on a golf course, and there were ponds. Like I said, it was beautiful. So when we went to go into the community, my daughters were with me, and of course, my oldest daughter, she's already fallen in love with the place. She's moving in her head, and I'm right there with her. So we finished viewing the unit, and we go back to the office with our leasing agent, and she tells me the next steps that we need to take. And so I'm already having it in my mind. I'm going back to the room. I'm going to apply, pay my holding fee so that they can hold our place, and we're going to get the ball rolling on this move. Now, one detail that I forgot to mention is that at this point, I was so ready to move out of this place that I'm in that I was willing to settle for a 1-bedroom. The 1-bedroom at that location fell perfectly within my budget amount. And so my thought process was, well, since I'm already sharing a room with my daughters anyway, let's just make a parallel move because I want to be anywhere but here right now. We go back to the room, a few hours goes by, put my girls to bed that night. I go ahead and apply for the apartment. Of course, they take the application fee and they take the deposit, and I don't hear anything. As a matter of fact, I don't think I heard anything for 3 days. And so on the third day, catch that, on the third day, I get the decline email. So now, y'all, my feelings are hurt. Like, I am like distraught. But another detail that I left out is I had told God, I said, God, if this is not the place that you have chosen for me, I want you to block it because I don't want to be anywhere that I'm not supposed to be. I don't want to be anywhere that's out of alignment with what you have for me. And so, like I said, I got the decline. Feelings were hurt, but my spirit just knew, okay, it's not time to move. It's just not time. And I knew it wasn't time for me to move because of my motive for moving. I wasn't moving because I felt an urge. I wasn't wanting to move because God was giving me that urgency to move. I wanted to move because I wanted to prove something to the people I knew who were watching me. And so after the decline, I said, okay, Lord, this is where you have me. I'm just going to steward this well. Like, if this is the home that we have to come back to whenever we go out and enjoy ourselves, then that's just what it is. Like, we're kept here, we're safe. Of course, it's not where I would choose for me to be, but out of obedience, I'm going to stay here. And so, December, January, February, March, April, May, and then finally at the end of May, I knew it was time to start looking again. And the way I knew it was time to start looking again is because things at this particular location started to shake up. I was like, okay, Lord, like, now I know this isn't what you have for me. It's a lot going on here. There's a lot of activity here. There's a lot of drama here that was not here when you first led me here. Like, Lord, okay, what are we doing? And so I felt this urgency, an urgency that I didn't feel the last time I went on my apartment search. I had an urgency that just said, look again, start looking again. And so again, on a random night, put my daughters to bed, and I pull up my best friend Gemini. No shade to Chat GPT, but Chat GPT is too judgmental. So I went to my bestie Gemini and I start talking to Gemini, and I'm telling Gemini everything that I'm looking for in an apartment, what my price range is, what the amenities must be, what neighborhood I want it to be in, what I want to be in close proximity. I'm putting all these parameters in here, pulling up these different apartments. And just like this particular extended stay stuck out to me at the beginning of my journey, there were two apartments that stuck out to me out of the suggested ones in our chat. Okay, so now I got my two apartments and we're back on this apartment search thing again. And this is where the details are going to be important, because you know the saying where God is not the author of confusion. And I'm going to tell you, one of these apartments was the epitome of confusion, okay? And that, oddly enough, that was the first one that I went to. So this was June now. So now we're at the beginning of June and my girls are still here with me. We go to view the first apartment, and it was giving confusion from the start. Scheduled my appointment to view the apartment online, got my confirmation email, arrived 15, maybe 15 minutes before my appointment time, and the confusion is already beginning. Oh, I don't have your appointment down for such and such a time. And I'm just like, well, I have an email that says that my tour is scheduled for this time. Oh, okay. It's no worries. It's just that we were expecting you at a different time, but it's no problem. It's no problem. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's just a one-off thing. I'm still not thinking too much into it. Mistakes happen. So I fill out the little card that they give you when you get ready to tour. And now we're getting ready to tour. Before we go on tour, there's a lot of stuff going on. And I don't want to give too many details, but let me just say that the owners of the property were there at the time that I showed up. And the person who gave me a tour of the apartment, that's all this person could think about is, oh my God, our higher ups are here. I'm going to be in trouble. I might, like, this person's mind was somewhere completely different. And I'm just like, okay, like in my mind, I'm thinking, this is very unprofessional, but I'm here. But that's strike number two. Number one, you don't have my correct appointment time. Number two, your mind is on whether or not you're going to be employed because you have a visit from the property owners at the time of my viewing. So this is where it gets good, y'all, but not really. So now we are getting ready to go and tour what I was told would be the move-in ready apartment. And so I confirmed, I said, okay, so the apartment that you're showing me is move-in ready, and it would be the one that I would be staying in. And the person's like, yes, like they're assuring me that yes, it's ready. This is where you would be living if you sign the lease, and we only show apartments that are ready to be moved into. So I'm like, okay, cool. We get to the apartment, and I kid you not, we get to the door of the apartment, and it looks like dried vomit on the front of the door. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, ain't no way. And so I asked him again, I said, and you said this is move in ready, right? And he was like, yeah, but I don't know what that is. And I'm like, well, it looks like throw up. And he's like, no, I don't think it's throw up. It looks like bread. So now we're going back and forth about what this dried crap on the front door is. And so I'm already like, okay, it's a no for me. But since we here, let's go look inside. So he opens the door, we go inside, and immediately my eyes are drawn to the corner closest to the front door. Dead cockroach. It's a no for me. Like, it's a definite no now, but I'm not going to be rude. We're already here. I'm just going to look and pretend like I'm interested, even though God was showing me every single reason why this was not the home for me. And so my daughters, they walk in. Of course, my oldest, she's looking like, oh, like this is like, she's giving it the hell to the no. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just, in my mind, I'm just going to look. And I already know I'm not going to be here. I go to the bedroom, and I'm looking in what's supposed to be like the closet area. And there's no carpet in the apartment. And I put my foot down, and my foot gets stuck to the floor. And so now, like, I'm stepping in something sticky. And it was just a horrible, like, it was the most horrible tour of an apartment that I've ever had in my life. So we finished the tour, and I politely asked a few questions just to make it seem like we didn't waste either of our time. Even already knowing that I was not going to apply, it was a no for me. We returned back to the leasing office. He was still so distracted about the property managers being there that I had to remind him to give me my ID back. Like I said, it was just very unprofessional, but rightfully so, because remember my prayer. I said, if a place is not for me, block it. Like I always say, give me a slap in the face sign, because sometimes I could be naive and even desperate to an extent with certain things. And I will forgive a lot of things that should be a hard no. And so I said, okay, that wasn't it. Like, wasted my money on an Uber, whatever. Like, but it was a small price to pay for a confirmatory no. Now it's time for me to get my daughters ready to spend the summer with their dad. And so I take a pause on just viewing apartments for the rest of the week. I still have this other apartment like tucked away in the back of my mind. But at the same time, I'm just like, my expectations weren't very high, because now I'm comparing every apartment that I viewed to the one I fell in love with to begin with. That was a no from God. I get my girls together, and if you know anything about co-parenting, my daughters, they spend the majority of the summer with their dad. And so for me as a mom, there's a lot of preparation that goes behind, like making sure they have everything that they need for that extended period of time away from me. And so I was so focused on that, and I have two girls. So by the end of that weekend before they would leave, like, it drained me. And I had scheduled an apartment tour for that Monday. But by the time Sunday came, I already knew that I was too exhausted. I needed an extra day to rest. And so now I'm going back and forth in my head, and I'm like, oh my God, I scheduled this appointment for Monday. I'm worried, like, if I reschedule it, like, I'm just really like spiraling, overthinking. And then I had to check myself. And I'm going to remind you watching this video as well. If something is for you, it doesn't matter if you arrive late, it's still for you. Late is still going to be on time. And so I reminded myself, I said, you know what? If the apartment is for me, it doesn't matter if I show up on Monday or if I show up on Tuesday, it's still going to be mine. Fast forward to June 9th, that Tuesday, which was my reschedule of the apartment tour. I went to go tour the second apartment out of the two that Jim and I had suggested that I narrowed down the search to. As soon as we pulled into the community, I immediately fall in love. The same love that I felt with the first community. The only difference was, of course, this one doesn't sit on a golf course. And I failed to mention that on the ride there were so many signs and synchronicities. I'm not going to get into detail about that, but I beg you not to put God in a box because he speaks to you in so many ways if you only pay attention. I saw so many signs that he had already been showing me. And so I knew I was in perfect alignment going to this place. So we pull in, and the first thing I see is a playground. And I'm immediately sold because above my needs, I want to make sure that my children are happy with wherever we end up living. And so we pulled in, and my driver's taking me into the community. And I have to stop him and tell him, oh, I don't live here yet, but that's the goal. I said, you could drop me off at the leasing office. And so he backtracks and he drops me off at the office. And I go inside and I just feel like an instant peace, like I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. I get greeted by someone who doesn't give me the tour, but lets me know that the leasing agent will be back shortly. And she offers me to have a seat, which I sit down. And then my leasing agent, she comes in, she introduces herself, takes my ID and my information, and we get on the golf court and we go and view an apartment. So now, another detail that I forgot to mention, even in the wrong apartment that I toured previously, that was also a one bedroom. But now, because I waited, I found a two bedroom that falls perfectly within my budget. So I'm at this new place in alignment to view a two bedroom apartment, which means that I will have my own space and my daughters will have their own space too. But notice I had to wait. So we go and tour an apartment that is similar to the one that I would be living in if I were to live there. And in that moment, I didn't know that I would be living there. I walk in, and again, just an instant peace. The layout, like everything is perfect. It comes with a washer and dryer. And if nothing else sold me, that alone sold me, because if you know anything about living in an extended stay, there is no washer and dryer unit in your room. And so even doing laundry it could be a chore. So that would be a luxury for me to have a washer and dryer in my home again. And, but like I said, everything else, like the community, I just felt a peace, and I can't emphasize that enough. Like I just felt a peace. I felt a peace with my leasing agent. I felt a peace with the community. I felt a peace with even the model unit that she brought me into to tour. And she just stood there and let me do my own thing, let me look around, ask me if I had any questions. And then I just started speaking to her transparently. I bring up the fact that I had applied for apartment community last year in November. She's asking me about the name of the community and whatnot, and I'm telling her, and I'm just asking her, like, what is the approval process like? Because when I applied for that community, it was like an instant denial. And so I told her that they had taken the application fee and the deposit like up front, and I had to wait, and of course I got refunded for the deposit. But I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't wasting my time again. Like, I was trying to get as much information as possible. Like, is there a certain credit score that y'all look for? Like, what is it? Because honestly, I was taken aback when I got denied, because I've never been denied for anything before. Like, I'm always approved for everything. So I don't know what was going on other than me leaning into the fact that God did not want me there. And so she's telling me, oh, that sounds strange. She was like, we definitely don't operate that way. She said, you go in and you'd apply. It's a $60 application fee, but we don't take a holding fee unless you're approved. And that stuck with me. She said, we don't take a holding fee unless you're approved. And so she kept urging me. She said, but if you really want to lock in this rate, you have to apply soon, because the unit that you're wanting to move into, they want to renovate it and increase the rate on it. So if you want to lock that rate in, I encourage you to apply as soon as possible. And so I was like, okay. I was like, well, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna apply this afternoon. And she was like, yeah, go ahead and apply. And if you want to know right away, you can give me a call and let me know. Y'all, I did not call her. Anxiety was too bad. Um, but I did apply that evening. I came back to the room again. Now I've toured it by myself. My girls, they're with their dads. So I came back and I'm just like, God, like, I don't know if I can take another rejection, but if you tell me no, it's not the place for me, I'm going to be perfectly fine with that. It's going to hurt a little, but I'm not going to be upset, like, because at the end of the day, being in alignment with what you have for me is like my top priority above anything that I want for myself. Like, and I'm very serious about that now in life. After my nerves died down a little bit, it was closer to the evening, I went ahead and applied and I paid my application fee. And hold the phone. I don't know how I forgot this detail. When I start the application, tell me why. It is
the same management company that denied me before.
when I pulled up the application, I about like just broke down because I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. This is the same management company. How am I going to be approved if this other apartment denied me? Y'all are under the same umbrella. The same umbrella. And so here I am, I'm talking to God again. I'm like, God, this does not make any sense. And that's exactly how you know it's from God. This don't make no sense. I said, you know what, Lord, I'm going to just do the application anyway. Like, at this point, I said, you know what? If I'm approved, then God, I know it's you, because this is the same management company. And I just got denied from this other community under this umbrella in November. If I get this apartment, Lord, I know that it is only you. I complete the application. Oddly enough, they were asking me a bit more questions than what the previous application was asking. And I'm still unconvinced. If I'm being completely honest, I will never get on here and lie. I'm sitting here like, okay, extra questions, that doesn't mean approval. But I complete the process. I pay my $60. And remember, the woman told me, if you're approved, then we'll go ahead and collect the holding fee from the same form of payment that you use to pay your application fee. So I just kept that tucked in the back of my mind. But all I could think about was, God, it's the same management company. Like, there's no way. There is no way it's the same management company. And so I did my application well before 6 o'clock when she told me I could call and get an answer. But y'all, like I said, I didn't call. Like, I didn't. I said, you know what? Like, I can't take it over the phone. So I did the application. I shut my laptop and I went to bed. The next day, the next afternoon, which would be June 10th now, I'm sitting at the desk and I'm working, and all of a sudden my phone vibrates and I get a notification that the holding fee was deducted from my bank account. And I'm just thinking, no, no, it has to be a mistake, because there's no way. There's no way. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm it's not real. It's not real yet. Yes, they took the holding fee, but I'm not going to believe it until I get the actual like email that confirms that it's mine. And then 20 minutes later, the email came in telling me congratulations on your new home. And so after I finished having my private moment with God, I went ahead and picked the camera up just to record my real raw reaction to receiving the news. And to be honest, I went back and forth about including these clips in the video because I hate getting on the internet crying. But for purposes of transparency, I feel like I will go ahead and end the video off with those video clips. So until you see or hear from me again, remember, today's test will be tomorrow's testimony. I just want to document this day for testimonial purposes. Today is June 10th, 2026, and I just got confirmation from the apartment community that I applied for, that I've been approved for a permanent home. My time here at the extended stay will be up. It's up. I've been here since August 28th of 2025. So a little less than a year. I've been here out of obedience. And today, I've been approved for a permanent home. So I have to add this backstory, I guess. When I got here in August. In November, I attempted to apply to a different community that I fell in love with, that I felt would be perfect for me and my girls. Immediately denied. And it was strange to me because I've never been denied for anything in my life. And at that time, I knew that it wasn't time for me to move. Fast forward to today. Yesterday, I applied. Today, immediate approval, no deposit required. No deposit required. So I'm sharing this because for two reasons. First of all, I always pray that if it is not in God's will for me to be in a place, God's will for me to have a thing, whatever it is, I always pray that He blocks it, because I'd rather be in alignment than to have something just because I want it. I only want what I'm going to be protected in. I only want what I'm going to be able to keep. So that's the first thing. The second thing, or the second reason I'm sharing this testimony, is because when God's hand is in something, I promise you, whatever that thing is, it will come to you so effortlessly. I would have never imagined that I would be approved with no deposit. Like, I don't have to pay anything up front. I literally just have to wait for my apartment to become ready. And I was even going to settle in November and get a 1-bedroom, but I waited and applied for a 2-bedroom. So when you wait on God, even when it doesn't make sense, when you are obedient, you will get even more than you expected. You will get more than what you asked for. I was going to settle for a 1-bedroom apartment, but I waited, and then I found a 2-bedroom apartment that I loved more. Y'all, wherever you are, steward wherever you are well. If you haven't seen the video that I put out, I put that video out as soon as I got to this location. Steward wherever you are well. You are being watched, but never forgotten.